Hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday, October 16th in the year of our Lord, Donald Trump. I'm Manila Chan. That over there is Ted Rawl, fresh out of deprogram and the permanent spot,
That's
as
right.
we've discovered. The new permanent spot at 9 a.m. That was Ted. I mean, what's that like to end a show on time?
Well, I will fill you in. It's nice, actually. It's
You
like
gotta try that on this show. You gotta try that on this show.
Yes, well, yeah, especially because we're going to be adding a show at 11 o'clock. You know that, so like we'll be doing DMZ or something. So you're going to be probably next month, Manila. This is me dropping a bomb here.
Wow.
So
well, I like it though. We need to have more discipline because we're not disciplined on this show.
No.
It goes off the rails.
I don't know who Manila, I don't know who this we is, but yeah.
Oh, really? Uh-huh.
Although I like to talk too, but like, I think, I have the terrestrial radio discipline. I don't know if you did you ever have that like that? Well, you did on TV. We had the timing was down to like a and on Sputnik, right? I mean,
oh yeah, of course. I'm like,
but
we
had the breaks.
Like never late. I'm like very
always
regimented
had the format.
On...
Always had the formatics.
Yeah,
I mean, those formatics stay with you forever too. I mean, I swear to God,
in the middle of the night, I can do what you want.
I swear to God, in the middle of the night, I can still say KFI has the most traffic reports on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks. It's like any time.
Yeah, those things fall out of my head. Those things don't stick with me. Anyway, you guys are now tuned into the Ted Manila Information Show, TMI show for short, because we bring you way too much information. Manila Chan here, Ted Rawl over there. We're live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Our supposed out cue is supposed to be 11 a.m. So we're gonna try to aim for that. On today's show, I'm calling for it right now, Ted. Justice for big balls.
I'm scared of what the political button would look like.
Justice for big balls. Well,
would there be a graphic?
Yes, and I think I would sell the truck nuts. Like if I was doing the marketing, I would sell it as like a bumper sticker with like truck nuts.
What's a truck nut? Oh, truck nuts. Truck nuts.
You don't know what truck nuts are?
I know what truck nuts are. I tried to block that. You have things fall out of your head. I try to block things from my head.
Yeah, just like
because they're not good for you.
What? Yeah, I would market that. It would sell. It really would. There are really possible. Worse things, Ted. There are some dude somewhere became a multimillionaire because of the shake weight. Okay.
What's that?
The shake weight. It's like this weight. It's a weighted thing that's like a tube, and on the inside, it's like a machine, and it basically gyrates in and out like this, and you hold it, and it's supposed to isolate your muscles and like.
What?
And people. Yeah, the shake weight. Ted, how do you not know what the shake weight is? And some other jackass made $1 gajillion selling the what's it called? The Snuggie. Tell me you know what a Snuggie is.
No, I don't know what a Snuggie is. I mean, I thought you were going to mention these are great because I thought you were going to do the usual mood ring, pet rock, and so on.
No, these are like real, like people became rich from these stupid inventions. So like I would market like, to the MAGA crowd, truck nuts that say justice or big balls.
However, truck nuts are hard to see. They're low.
Doesn't matter. People buy them. Buy them. Even if to hang from their Christmas tree, Ted.
Oh, how incredibly classy.
From their front door.
Mm-hmm.
From the post on, on the gate at your yard.
Of course.
There's many uses for truck nuts.
Who wouldn't
Don't
want
limit
that?
it to just trucks. But yeah, Ted doesn't know. Can somebody tell Ted what a Snuggie is? Ted, look up a Snuggie. All it is basically a blanket with armholes and arm sleeves sewed into it. So that way you can, when you're cuddling up on a couch, curled up, watching a movie or whatever, and you can stick your arms through the sleeves and eat your popcorn. Like it's a very American invention. I can't believe Ted doesn't know the Snuggie.
No.
But somebody became a multi-millionaire from that.
There's so many things like that I don't understand. Like, what's that thing, the cup warmer or cooler that people have at games to keep their drink cold?
Oh, the koozie?
What's it?
A beer koozie.
Yeah, that's the koozie. Cozy? I thought it was a cozy.
Cozy, koozie.
A koozie is a different thing.
Cozy? A beer cozy?
But
I don't use those. So I don't
what
know.
if you have a koozie cozy? That's like panties are a koozie cozy. But like
I don't know.
But like a
cozy. But yeah, it's the sleeve thing that you put your beer in or drink or whatever, right? It's supposedly keeps it cold.
Yeah, and I don't even. So here's my thing. I don't care if it's 105 degrees out. If I have a cold drink in my hand, I'm not holding it long enough for it not to stay cold. It's going to be down here in my mouth. I'm like I don't understand that. Like, it's so hot that you're worried about your drink heating up. Well, if it's that
you don't
hot,
want your hand to transfer the heat. But
if it's that hot, you're thirsty as shit, and you're downing that thing quick, right? Physics make it useless.
I don't know. I guess that's a good point. I don't use them.
And if it's 60 degrees, it's not melting or getting warm anytime soon, so you don't need it. You never need it. It literally serves no purpose at all.
I could see where it's more comfortable holding your drink. Like if Starbucks gave me, I don't go to Starbucks, but let's say Starbucks gave, instead of a drink sleeve, it was like a cozy or whatever it's called, a cushy sleeve.
That'd be kind of nice. Koozie cozy. So you have your coos, have your coos, and you make it cozy.
Because they're like neoprene. They feel nice. They feel nice. I
don't think you're following me, but that's okay.
No, I get that. I get it, but I'm just saying, like, I would like that actually. Like, but I don't use them, so I don't like holding drinks. I don't like. I like having my hands free. So I don't know. I don't walk around carrying a drink. Who does that?
Well, we should. Anyway. If we're gonna hit 11 o'clock, we should get moving. All right.
Anyway, other thing, this whole Robbie is the only practicing Christian in this group. He actually goes to church.
I like the term practicing. Always makes me laugh. It's like, are you just getting ready? Are you going to be?
Well, why do doctors have a practice? I don't want them to practice on me. I want them to already be good. Like,
you could practice on like
practice in
prisoners or something. Yeah.
Exactly. Don't
like they do in China.
Practice on me. But yeah, so Robbie brought this story to our attention is because Ted and I are two non-practicing bad Catholics, and we should be more angry about this. Is that the Vatican, under the first American Pope Leo, right, Ted? He is opening up a prayer room at the Vatican for Muslim. Robbie has thoughts about it. Like, Ted and I are,
but I was raised Catholic. I served Mass.
Yeah, I dropped out. I stopped going to any organized.
We talked about this.
Catholic anything.
18, both of us 18.
At 18. So I just it's just not for me. But I do find this kind of shocking. But anyway, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about this whole religious thing I think this is for visiting scholars. It's not, it's kind of like, Ted, would we be having this conversation if the Vatican was like, I'm gonna open up a special nursing room for visitors to the Vatican,
or pregnant nuns,
or for the women who are visiting that are nursing their babies. Right, you're from out of town. You're at the Vatican for a long time. You got to nurse a baby. Would we be having the same conversation? Would it be as controversial? I don't know.
I don't think so.
And then
I don't. Well, the thing is, nursing. There's nothing incompatible with Catholicism. with with nursing babies. I mean, lots of millions of Catholic women nurse babies every day, but it is weird to have another religion have basically a satellite inside your church. I mean, it would be weird to put this into perspective. It would be weird for a Lutheran church to be like, "Hey, Presbyterians, we've got the Presby room in the back." It'd be like, "What? Why do you do that?" It would be weird for like Mormons to have a room in like, in like a Episcopalian church. It would just be weird.
Yeah, no, it's there's all kinds of weird to this, but I don't know. I'm not particularly offended, I guess is my point. Other story we're doing. This one's interesting, Ted. This is fun. People are having voluntary relationships with AI, and then there are people that are having involuntary relationships, I guess is a fair way to tease it.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not really being raped by AI.
Not yet.
No, yeah, that's coming. Pun intended.
So yeah, there's a particular story about a lady, a middle-aged lady. I mean, she's not like a young dumb girl that's like 22, like a 36-year-old woman.
Is 36 middle-aged?
Yeah, because the average lifespan in America is like 74.
No, it's not. It's like 78.
I think it's gone down. I think it's like 74.
It has dropped. You're right about that. Because we're declining. We're a declining empire,
really,
and that's what happens.
At best, 40 is middle aged, and so at 36,
No, I mean it's definitely anyway. You're getting close to middle age for sure. Yeah,
you're not a kid, and there's a woman that got taken by AI.
Yeah, honestly I could see that happening. Not to me because I'm too smart for that, but I could see that happening. No, it could happen to me. Yeah, I could be that dumb.
I don't know about this.
I could be that retarded.
About this. And last but not least, we'll talk about stuff that we haven't talked about. I guess people haven't thought about in ages. Ted is like floppy disks and like literal floppies that used to.
I've thought about this for years. This is a topic that's near and dear to me.
Really, you put a lot of thought. I'll read the article. Well, I'll read the summary. Mm-hmm. But you have to expound on this because I really have never given it much thought after we moved past the floppy and then the smaller hard disk. I hated. I remember going to school and having
there were several generations of floppies. There were the initial ones which were big. I don't know if they were 9 inches or 8. I think they were 8 inches. The big ones. I remember those. Then there were the middling size one, the 5 inches, that are the size of basically a CD. And then there's what they called
the little hard.
They were called mini discs.
The hard ones, right? Like
the hard ones,
the plastic shell
with the little thing that went up and down, the little metal thing, little contraption.
Yeah. So,
and then later, don't forget there were the big ones, zip discs, which Robbie just alluded to. They were big. They took 100 megs of material. Us cartoonists, we all used zip discs because our files were big. So, and then jazz discs were 250 megs, and they were like sort of chunky. They were more like an 8-track tape.
Well, the whole reason to this story is apparently over at Cambridge University in the UK, there's just boundless
and all over the world. Archives all over the world are full of these discs, right? And
that are about to go extinct.
The analogy, basically. Manila, is sort of like there are lots of out of date, recording technology that predates the computer age. Like, for example, there's those magnetic. What are those things called? The wax cylinders from like 100 years ago that like they used to record sound, including music on. And there are tons of libraries full of boxes of these wax cylinders that, basically are impossible, if not very hard to play. And then this is really one of my favorite stories. I don't know if you remember this, but some dude back in the 1850s basically came up with the idea, kind of a proto stylus, and he like would record sounds while dragging a needle on a spring across a wax-covered paper. and he just filed them.
What?
And he basically was like, someday someone will figure out a way to play these. Well, 20 or 30, 15 years ago, someone did figure out a way to play them. And because basically it's the same technology, like what's a wax record? Like a vinyl record is just like it plays because of the width and the depth of the grooves, right? And it's on a spring, right? It's the same exact thing. Anyway, the point is they figured out, and this guy recorded Abe Lincoln giving a speech. And so now we can listen to Abe Lincoln in like the 1850s or early 1860s, giving a speech. And, he was always reputed to have had a high, reedy voice. And that appears to be true.
Weird. That's so weird. But anyway, the point of the story is like the hardware needed to extract the information from all of these old floppies around the world, especially this one in particular over at Cambridge. All that stuff is out of date, going extinct, and so people are trying to rescue all the knowledge before.
And it's hard. Yeah, there's a lot, and a lot of them don't have. Yeah, I mean, you got a bunch of challenges, right? You don't have the equipment to play it on anymore because they've all been thrown away or destroyed.
Yeah.
Or there's also the discs might not be in good condition. They might not have been stored in optimum environment. Deterioration. But then also, even if they're stored in a perfectly temperature controlled and dry environment, there's digital rot. Literally, like, digital data just deteriorates by itself.
Yeah.
And so so it's a real problem, because everything, just think about, like, right now, you got to save this
for the story when we go to the story.
You're right. I'm sorry.
So, but that's what this whole, we'll tell you what it is and why it's actually important. So, I never thought about it until I read the story, and I went, wow. 'Cause you just like to think that at this day and age, everything has been converted to digital, right? Like, you like to think it's all been done, that like everything Albert Einstein wrote.
It's a nightmare to me.
Well, yeah, like I don't know. In my mind, I just think, okay, everything Stephen Hawking ever said, or his little robot voice ever said, has been transferred somewhere else.
No, not at all. No, we lose so much. Manila, think about like every time, I'm a huge music fan. Every time we've moved from one form of recorded music to another.
One format to another.
Yeah. So for example, tons of brilliant jazz and blues recordings were recorded on 78 records, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They never made the jump to 33. They never made the jump to 33 ever. And then a lot of stuff that was on 33, like a lot of brilliant, like punk and new wave and rock, never made the jump to CD. And then a lot of stuff that was on CD, believe it or not, never made the jump to like Pandora and Spotify streaming services due to licensing glitches and stuff like that.
Wow.
So, like, for example, even a well-known, if you go and look, for example, at a well-known recording artist like Elvis Costello, let's say,
sure,
not every record is on streaming. There's a few missing, and some artists are missing entirely. Like, I guarantee you go on Spotify, the band The Dots is not there. The Brains are not there. The Mumps are not there. It's like,
that's the importance of this story. So we'll get into that at the appropriate time. Ted, who has such discipline for timing.
Exactly. Always.
All right, let's go.
They call.
All right. We gotta do the big story, obviously, Ted.
Go, Manila, go.
It's justice. 2 teens arrested in connection, not far from where I stand where I sit right now. Arrested in connection with the attempted carjacking of a former U.S. DOGE service staffer back in August, an attack that captured the attention of President Donald Trump and in part ignited his sweeping crackdown on crime here at the nation's capital. Were sentenced on Tuesday to probation. Dun, dun, dun. No incarceration, no juvie No juvie time for these kids.
No.
The decision spurred swift condemnation from the president and administration officials, reviving their ongoing criticism that young people who commit crimes in D.C. are treated too leniently. Quote, "That's terrible," Trump said yesterday afternoon, adding, "The judge should be ashamed." A 15-year-old boy was sentenced to 1 year of probation after he pled guilty last month to 4 counts split between 2 incidents that took place one night in early August: attempted robbery and simple assault on Edward Coristine, a 19-year-old software engineer, better known as Big Balls, who began work in the federal government as a protégé of Elon Musk, and felony assault and robbery at a nearby gas station just before he assaulted Big Balls. A 15-year-old girl pleaded guilty on Tuesday to 1 count of simple assault for pepper spraying somebody at that gas station before she went on to assault Big Balls. In exchange, prosecutors agreed to dismiss another simple assault charge that she faced from earlier that night. A judge gave her 9 months of probation. The Office of the Attorney General, responsible for prosecuting crimes by juveniles here in D.C., had not asked the judge, the AG's office. Keep this in mind. The AG's office had asked the judge not to give the teens any jail time, any juvie. So the judge's sentence in each case reflected the prosecutor's request. The U.S. Attorney for D.C., Jeanine Pirro, who, like Trump, clamored for harsher penalties for juveniles who commit crimes, said the decision to sentence the pair to probation was shocking. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt expressed similar outrage. She said, "One of the biggest issues in D.C. is these juveniles. They just get a slap on the wrist. The administration has a completely different philosophy. We need law and order." So she's not much older than these kids herself, Ted. She's like 27. Caroline Leavitt is. So these kids, look, I'm not saying that juvie is like the best place for some juvenile delinquents,
or for any.
but when you have a long rap sheet, look, you can't just give these kids who are destined for future major crimes, you can't just give them, it's like giving them detention. Like this, I don't know what the answer is. I know juvie and even a lot of people, jail time is not the right thing for them. We need something in between, especially for children, because you really can save children when they're young. Like, you really can change them. It's one thing when you're like a 35-year-old hardened criminal, right? Like, or completely nuts, like the guy that stabbed the Ukrainian refugee girl in the neck, right? In
that guy's not going to notice. Carolina. Punishments is beside the point for a guy like that, right? I mean,
right, but that's a hardened adult.
He's like totally like
nuts. Yeah. No, he's Looney Tunes. But when these are 15-year-old kids, like probation isn't going to work, and just straight up juvie isn't going to work. We need something, our criminal justice system, especially for children, and in the way we treat adults who have mental illnesses, like the dude that stabbed the Ukrainian chick in the neck. There needs to be something in between.
Well, okay, agreed.
So they don't fall through the cracks.
And what do you suggest?
Oh, I don't know. First of all, I think we need to bring back the nut houses for the adults.
But that's
we did away with.
That's a different issue.
But that's a different topic. For kids, they need sort of like a halfway house, I think, with some discipline, kind of like.
What do you think
I would say.
What do you think about like
a military type school?
What do you think about like rich?
Robbie says beat their ass, cane them, Singapore style.
So when rich kids fuck up and do drugs and commit crimes,
yeah,
they get sent to like outward bound type places, right? Wilderness therapy. It's really expensive. Sure. It's like $30,000 a month, but you drop them off in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't work for all of them, but it seems to really help a lot. Like,
we have one of those. We have one of those about 40 miles west of where I live.
Well, so it's a beautiful
for rich
place.
kids.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so you live out in the woods, you live off the land, you learn how to cook,
interesting.
learn how to hunt maybe. And it's, I mean, I know personally
There needs to be like a reform
few,
school, basically.
I've known people who were junkies, prostitutes, homeless, like totally like scurrilous dogs, like robbed stores, like total turds as teenagers. They were from rich families who sent them off to wilderness. And from what I heard about it, I mean, I was jealous. I mean, I wish I'd had that experience. It sounded great. And like they came out of it and it turned them around.
We're better, right?
They all the ones I know. I'm not saying they have 100% record, but I'm just saying that's an example.
The ones you know.
That's an example. It's like, it's harsh.
It worked.
It's harsh. It's not like you're coddling anyone. So from a conservative standpoint, it's not like, oh, they're like living, like they're not living in a cozy hotel room. It's not the Betty Ford clinic, but yeah, they're living rough, right? Out in the maybe with no tent, like outside.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like more of like a military, like reform school type things. That works for some kids, but it's not going to be nice. They're going to have people yelling in their faces. But when you're a little dipshit, when you're 15 years old, when you have a rap sheet when you're 15 years old and you get another slap on the wrist, you are destined for the criminal justice system when you're over 18. Like you're destined for it. It's just,
I have a lot of sympathy because I could have easily been someone like that. I mean, look, I ran away from home.
I could have too.
I ran away from home. I was fucking out of control. I was a vandal. I stole shit. I mean, yeah.
You're a little hoodlum.
I was a little hoodlum. I was like, and because I had excellent grades, I never got in trouble. Nobody knew what the fuck I was up to because they couldn't, they could never put it together. Like, how can the kid with the 4.0 average? Yeah, I would be running. All my friends would get caught. We all did the same thing together. And they'd be like, oh, and it'd be like, I didn't get bugged, even though like they all knew I ran with them. It's like,
I did
Rawls
too.
got a 4.0. He wouldn't have done that. Like,
I did that too.
Okay,
It was the
you guys are
perfect
wrong,
cover.
but okay.
I was like, perfect cover, being a smart little Asian girl.
My point is that I was a scoundrel, and I could have easily seen, becoming. Although I have to say, I never had any appetite for victimizing innocent people. I don't understand that mentality of going up to someone who's never done anything to you. You've never met them, and you attack them. There's something seriously fucking wrong with you.
The girl that helped assault Big Balls, 15-year-old girl. The charge that was dropped against her.
Let's say the quiet part out loud.
She pepper sprayed a woman at the gas station moments before she came to assault Big Balls.
In cities like New York and Washington, almost all the crime is teenagers. They are. I mean, we don't like to talk about it, but it's just true. Even by the time you're like 19, 20, you're on your road to being redeemed. But like teenagers, like ages 13 to 17, are like responsible for probably 60 or 70% of the crime in these cities. Street crime. I mean, the big crimes are happening in corporate boardrooms where they're stealing billions of dollars. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But all this, the street crime, they're a bunch of little shit ass teenagers. That's what.
You're right.
Well, it's a two-pronged problem. One, there's so many kids who are growing up without a father in the home. There's no discipline, so that's a major part of the problem. And then they grow up wild. If you grow up like a feral animal, don't be surprised when you act like a feral animal. Let's just be honest here. So then how does society then at that point fix this problem? You cane them. You go Singapore style. You chain them to a post. You get a bamboo cane and you cane that ass. And I promise you, they will think twice before they do it again. You don't do slap on the wrists.
Old school Asian parents did that. They put the fear of God into you.
Well, that's what you need, right? Well, that's what you need, because I guarantee you this 15-year-old girl, if she lost a couple of layers of skin after she pepper sprayed somebody, she'd probably think twice before she tried to carjack somebody.
I don't know that I believe that it does anything other than being violent to kids. My mother and my father hit me. My mother hit me a lot. All it did to me was and it didn't stop me from pulling shit either. It was just like made me more careful about not getting caught. And
Oh my God.
and she used to hit me anyway, just randomly. It just gave me contempt for her. It made me dislike her. It made
Well,
me,
you got to remember.
I lost respect for her.
Well, you got to remember.
And I stopped loving her.
Well, there's a difference between having an abusive parent, which you and me both have, with being disciplined by the state. So if you get arrested, like what happened with these two thugs, let's call it what it is, they're thugs. And then there has to be some kind of penalty paid. You violated the law. There has to be some kind of recompense.
I agree. There should be a consequence. There has to.
Then.
But on the other hand, young minds are very nimble and very flexible and malleable, and they can be more easily redeemed than like if someone's 70 and doing this shit. There's not much you can do.
Well, that's my point. Is that you tear them up. And then you figure it out, or if you don't want to do that, and I'm against jails, I'm against prisons. I mean, they're stupid, they're unbiblical, they make no sense.
And they don't accomplish anything.
They accomplish nothing. So if you don't want to spank them, then what you do is that you put them on a chain gang and let them go pick cotton for 6 days a week. I mean, there has to be some kind of punishment.
Well, the picking cotton thing, it's kind of analogous to the wilderness therapy kind of approach.
Oh.
Yeah. So I mean,
also the good news about the wilderness therapy thing is you're taking them out of their environment and you're showing them something bigger. A lot of these urban kids, they never even.
But they can't do that.
They've never been to the beach. They've never,
I know.
They don't know that there's a whole
lot
world
of these kids
outside of the hood.
A lot of these kids have really difficult home lives. So I have a lot of sympathy for these kids.
Me too. I used to be a tutor in an intermediate high school here in New York, in East Harlem, and I had these were the best, the kids who were the best of the best, the creme de la creme, the kids who voluntarily stayed after school for extra math training. I mean, how dorky would you have to be? I wouldn't have done that. And so anyway, the point is that like these kids came to me, and even so, man, the stories that I heard about their home life, I was like, these kids are lucky to be alive.
They didn't want to go home for some of those kids.
No, that was part of it. Yeah,
that was it.
They'd rather hang with me.
Because I'm not far from where this incident happened to Big Balls. There are kids that
let's be respectful.
Okay, Mr. Balls. Oh yeah, he is over.
Mr.
He
Testes.
is over 18. Mr. Right, maybe that's Balls is the nickname.
Testiculous.
Mr. Testiculous. Where this incident happened, I don't live too far from there, so a lot of these kids from the inner city, like of downtown DC.
And by the way, all joking about his nickname,
they come here.
What happened to him is absolutely horrible.
It's fucking horrible. Like, and he was defending. He shoved his date in the car and closed the door. And she was calling the police, and he was like trying to fend off.
Yeah, no, he was. By all accounts, he acquitted himself in a manly style.
He really did for a 19-year-old boy.
I mean, I got to give credit. I mean, he's a douchebag.
That is Big Balls.
DOGE is douchey, but in this incident, he was clearly the victim, and
that was really ballsy. Yeah. Much respect to Big Balls for that. But a lot of those kids, what I was saying is those kids from downtown DC. There are very, very few programs that always involve sales, Ted, where and a lot of them are Black kids because DC is a largely Black city. A lot of these Black kids come to my neighborhood to sell whatever products or whatever. And one of the kids I kind of befriended, and I looked at his social media and I was like, look, like, you really want, you want to work in media? I asked him because he came to my door to sell me cookies or something. And I started chit-chatting with the kid and it was, unfortunately, it was during COVID, but I told him I would mentor him because he wanted to work in media. He wanted to come to the studio. As I found out, he had all these hopes and dreams, and it was never going to fucking happen living the life that he's otherwise exposed to. And I got to know this kid, and he had a really rough childhood, and he's like a 13 or 14-year-old boy, a crucial where he could very easily go the wrong way, right? So I kind of acted as like a mentor to the poor kid, and I think now, I mean, I kind of lost touch with him because he would have graduated high school. He's graduated high school by now, but I see his social media, and he's thankfully not gone down that track because I got to know the kid. There are a lot of kids like him with worse stories than him. So I know from firsthand experience with these kids, that
So basically, look, let's cut to the chase because we have other stories to do. But we want to try to save these kids.
you want to
And the
save
question
the kids.
is that I don't know if Michael Fay, who was the most famously caned American in Singapore, right?
Yes.
He was from my hometown of Kettering, Ohio. So
really?
Yeah, he was. I'm so proud. It's like we have Ted Rall, Michael Fay, and Nancy Cartwright.
Huh. Oh,
You know,
really? Nancy Cartwright is from Kettering, Ohio?
and James Clavell.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
look, rather than do that and rather than jail and not a fucking slap on the wrist, because they're just going to go out and continue to do the shit that they're doing. There needs to be something in the middle.
I'm a proponent of like work camp or like wilderness therapy, that kind of thing.
I mean,
Re-education camp. That's how the Chinese would do it.
I mean, honestly, the best way to do this, well, there's three solutions here. And Well-Dressed Nerd, thank you for the $10 donation. Let's be honest, it's a wrap on the COVID generation, saying this is as a parent of the kids who were teens during the pandemic psyop. I agree.
That's true. However, it's also true that like, look, there's been little shitheel 15-year-olds. I know that I've been mugged by 4 of them at one time, and that predated the pandemic, right?
No, I agree. So, I mean, that just kind of goes to my point. So if that's a big part of the problem is that we have a legal system, not a justice system. So that's a big part of the issue. If we lived in a truly just society, if I was the judge, I would give this kid the option. Either A, you're going to work on a cotton field for 6 months and you're going to be picking cotton 6 days a week and you're going to pay restitution for what you have done. Or I'm going to cane your ass in the middle of Times Square with a bamboo cane. You pick your punishment.
See, my problem with the bamboo cane is I don't think it would work. Well, that's my problem with it. I mean,
but you remember though, it's
you mean?
do it. Well, you do it publicly. You have that public stigma. I mean, how humiliating? How humiliating would it be to be taken out? Because keep in mind, I'm advocating Singapore style here. Okay, you go out and you publicly
in
tear
Singapore, it's
that
not public.
Kid up. Well,
it's not public in Singapore. It's done in a prison.
Well, so then I would prefer to be public. That way you just have that extra stigma. Okay, I mean that's how I would do this.
Don't you think though that there's a danger that it's just you're gonna come out of that just pissed off and humiliated and like and you're gonna hate and you're gonna look down on the system and you're not gonna be thinking about what you did. You're not gonna be thinking about what you're not gonna be thinking what did wrong, what you did wrong. You're gonna be thinking about what was done wrong to you.
Here's what both of you are missing. Both of those, the kids need to go into it with some semblance of shame already. And if the kids are already committing these types of crimes at this age, at 14 or 15 years old, it means they ain't got any shame, guys.
Then if they ain't got no shame, Manila, what you do is that you give them little fuckers a good dose of fear. Fear works.
I can agree with that. Fear does work.
There's a reason why after Spartacus' rebellion failed, Rome did not have another revolt for 400 years. Once you crucify thousands of people on either side of the Appian Way, people think really good and hard before they do that crap again.
This is low-hanging fruit, Robbie. Did that shit work with the Christians?
Oh, no. Well, that's the difference, though, right? Is because Christians, they're looking at things, and this is a good segue to the next segment, is that Christians weren't doing anything wrong. You have this guy says you have to worship me, and then Christians are saying, no, I'm not going to worship you. They're not going out trying to overthrow the state. That's the difference.
I mean, I do think that, like, look, when the state punishes you, I think that there's a tendency, if the state punishes you more than like the gravity of what you did to be in trouble,
she maced somebody.
You're going to tend to think that you're the victim, even though it's not. Maybe you and I as adults don't see it that way. You're going to tend to think as a whiny 15-year-old, like, they hit me with a cane in front of everyone in Times Square, and they beat my ass black and blue.
That little girl randomly assaulted. That little girl randomly assaulted a lady pumping gas at the gas station.
No, it's just like the teenagers.
She's a terrible person. Yeah,
you beat that butt. Now, ultimately, I mean, no, the biggest solution here, government is the worst possible solution to this. The best solution is for women, and I'm saying this because women want to have kids, they need to start being more selective with what man is that they take to bed with them and have sex with and have kids with. If you're not willing to take that guy's name, don't bring him to your bed. That's the issue. Is to break down the family first and foremost. That's only the best answer.
I agree with that. The reason your kids are shit asses is because you're a shit ass parent yourself. Bottom line.
Exactly.
So
I mean, if
you're
you're
probably
a whore,
a
don't
shit
be
ass
surprised
adult
you have
yourself.
thugs. Exactly.
Well,
So,
you might
starts
just
at home.
be one parent, and it's hard. Trust me on this, to be a single parent.
Sure.
Yeah, it is.
Sure. But it starts at home. All right. We'll move on. Ted, the next topic. What do we have? Oh,
Robbie has no
Fraz
thoughts on this topic.
Fraz makes a good point. Like the polar games that they were playing there in New York. We have these black teenagers who are going in and punching white people and Asians, but they didn't know any better. They're underprivileged. No, you beat that ass.
Yeah.
Well, you don't think underprivilege is a real thing?
The punch out game. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, sure. Sure. I mean, Ted, I grew up homeless with a broken arm. I got broke by my dad. I never once went and decided to go punch somebody out because that's slanting out.
Random.
Yeah. Me neither.
So sorry, that doesn't work.
No, I agree. I agree. All right, let's do the Muslim.
The way I view the privilege. The way I view the privilege question is that like we all have to play the hands that we were dealt, right? So that's how it is. Okay, Muslim scholars visiting the Vatican Apostolic Library are now being accommodated with their own prayer spaces. Father Giacomo Cardinali, vice prefect, said in an interview with La Repubblica newspaper that Muslim academics asked for a little area in which they could pray, and the library said okay. Some Muslim scholars have asked us for a room with a carpet for praying, and we have given it to them, he said. The Vatican Library, founded in the mid-15th century and often regarded as the intellectual heart of the Catholic Church, houses a vast array of manuscripts and texts from across the world's religions and cultures. Father Cardinali said its collections include incredibly old Qurans, alongside Hebrew, Ethiopian, Arabic, and Chinese works. We are a universal library. The vice prefect also drew attention to some of the more unusual items in the collection, such as what's believed to be the oldest medieval Japanese archive outside Japan. The archive was preserved thanks to a Salesian missionary, Father Mario Marega, who lived in Japan during the 1920s. According to Father Cardinali, the missionary found the documents when he noticed kids playing with a ball of paper made from old manuscripts. Realizing their significance, he rescued them from a ruined castle, thus saving them decades later from the devastation of the atomic bomb. It was either a sensational stroke of luck or an inspiration from above, he said. Today, the Vatican Library is estimated to contain some 80,000 manuscripts, 50,000 archival items, nearly 2 million printed books, and more than 100,000 engravings, prints, coins, and medals. New discoveries continue to emerge, including a rare manuscript of Spinoza's Ethics unearthed in recent years. That's cool. The library's vast digital catalog has also opened its holdings to the wider public, though it has led to an influx of eccentric queries. We received the most absurd requests, especially from America, he said. Do you have a time machine? And the menorah from the temple from Jerusalem that Titus took away, and the Holy Grail. Everyone knows that's in the National Archives. Harrison Ford took it.
Yep, for sure. Indiana Jones. Love that guy.
Manila, you are muted. Manila, you are muted.
I have the briefest comment on this. I'm not particular as probably the and I say this probably as probably the only parent in here that has breastfed a child. In the same way,
let's hope so.
I don't know for sure, but I don't want to discriminate.
I think that's safe to say.
Yeah. I try not to discriminate. Just having been a breastfeeding mom, I alluded to this earlier. If and when there were spaces available, whether I was vacationing somewhere or just running errands, like at Target or something, and baby starts crying or whatever. If there's a space where I can discreetly, go off to do the thing I have to do, I appreciated those those spaces. I mean, I was not going to be one of those women that, walking around with a baby latched on my boob, because there are those women here in Northern Virginia. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of those people. For the same reason that these Muslim scholars don't want to just like plop down, in a maintenance closet, right? Like with the brooms to roll out their little rug to pray. Like I think it's just a nice gesture that the Pope did that. I just think it's a nice gesture. And that's because that's part of the Christian teaching is to reach out and be kind to them, to be kind to people. So I look at it just the same as that, as a nice gesture, and that's all. I don't read too much into it.
That is wholly incorrect. The Bible actually commands us to stay away from the unholy things, and this is an abject act of apostasy. I'm really interested in hearing what Tim Gordon have to say. I hope we're able to get him on, because I'm not a Catholic. I'm a Baptist, but I'm willing to bet you that he and I can agree a whole lot on this. This is a pugnant. It's apostasy. It's disgusting. And here's an honest question for you. The Vatican is the heart of Catholicism. But would y'all agree with that? That yes or no?
100%. Yeah, of course.
Then please let me know what mosque in Mecca or Medina would allow a Christian pastor a room to go pray in.
None, of course.
Exactly.
I have to say,
they can fuck right on off.
Does that matter?
Yes, it does. Okay, so first, if you're a Christian, you believe that the Lord Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior. He is God in flesh. He is God. Okay. If you believe that, then you oppose other religions because you believe they are false religions. Judaism teaches that Jesus is a son of a whore and is currently boiling in a pot of excrement. Islam teaches that Jesus was born of a virgin, but he's not God. So, both of those religions from the Christian persuasion are false religions. That's the thing. You don't bring an unholy thing into a holy space. You don't do that. That is an insult to God. If you believe that Jesus went to the cross for you, and that you call yourself by his name, which I do, the very thought that you would bring an imam in, and then or anyone from any other religion, any other kind of religion, to come and then have a prayer, in your place, that is blasphemy of the highest order. That's why. This is breastfeeding. I mean, breastfeeding is a biological act. You go in and you feed your baby. Women have been doing that since time began. Okay, that's something that's actually created by God. This is something entirely different. This is a act of blasphemy of the highest order. It's repugnant, and the fact that the Catholic Church has fallen this low. This is the same church that defended Europe against Islamic invasion for centuries, and now they're allowing this. What's next?
I'm going to shock you guys. I think I'm on Team Robbie here. What's the fucking point of a religion if you literally have another religion participating under your walls, right? I mean, under your roof. What is the point of it? It just serves no purpose, right? I mean, it's it just seems, I understand. It's not a Unitarian church. A Unitarian church, I could totally see they would have lots of facilities because that's what Unitarianism is. But yes, they're both Abrahamic religions, but come on, there's huge differences between Catholicism and Islam, right? Obviously, fundamental differences. And it's kind of I think it's totally cool to be let Muslim scholars come and study there. Sure, by all means. Just like I can and have attended Muslim services. Robbie, you could go to a mosque and you could participate or just attend. No problem. They would let you.
To observe.
I could attend, but if I start praying to Jesus in that mosque, what would happen to me?
You can get your ass kicked. And,
Exactly.
and I think rightly
Exactly.
So yeah, no,
Exactly.
I think I'm on Team Robbie here. Look, I I'm not like, I don't feel strongly about it because I'm not a devout person. But I think objectively, it's almost like saying, oh, here we are in the United States and we're going to have a military base from Qatar. Oh, wait. That's weird.
No, I get it. I don't have any strong feelings about this, honestly. I just view it as like, oh, you're extending a courtesy to visiting scholars, like, and that's all. Like,
that's too much courtesy. A courtesy is like, have an archivist help them to find the documents that they're looking for, bring them a bottled water, show them where the bathroom is, recommend a good Italian place down the street. That's courtesy. But like praying, like literally having a sanctified place where another very different religion, even a little different religion, is, even if it's like an Anglican church, which is barely different. I mean, it's still different. It's fucking weird.
Well, it's sacrilegious. I mean, it is sacrilegious because
it is by definition sacrilegious. It's true.
From a Christian perspective, and I understand that.
I mean, I'm not angry about it, but I just think it's objectively wrong.
I mean, the thing is, I've got to admit that I'm not a Catholic. To me, it does piss me off because of the double standard. Why is it that Christian Europe and Christianity as a whole is that we're taught, and a lot of it has to do with Christians not reading their Bibles. If Christians read their Bibles, they would be more Team Robbie than what they are. Why is it that you always are expected to get on your knees and apologize and say this is okay and be accepting, and this whole idea of hate the sin, love the sinner? Sorry, that's not a biblical concept. The entire point of it is Christianity and Islam are fundamentally incompatible with each other. For example, Christianity teaches wives to submit to their husbands. That's true. But the flip side, though, husbands are commanded to love their wives as Christ loved the church. What did Christ do for the church? He went to the cross for it.
But besides Robbie.
And then you're told that you have to accept these people who don't even believe in you. Oh, and by the way, not only do they not believe the same way, but they won't extend the same courtesy to you.
Well, Robbie, it's not. I don't think reciprocity is an argument here the way it is. I mean, look, that's sort of like, Jesus said to turn the other cheek, right? It didn't say like if someone kicks your ass, you kick them back the way that they kicked you exactly. I mean, it's kind of like if a homeless person is like spitting on me and like treating me like shit in the subway. I mean, I guess I have the right to do it back to them legally, but if I don't, because my religion tells me not to do that, or just my ethics say this is a crazy man, and I'm not going to lower myself to spit on his people. Level. Yeah, I'm not going to lower myself to his level because he's a fucking crazy man. Then like that doesn't. I mean, I think this would be move on. This would be, to me, reciprocity would the reciprocity argument is like sort of saying that like the Catholic Church shouldn't try to be at a higher level, and I think it should, but I do think it's just sort of blasphemous to have it happen on church property. Well, that's fucking
it'd be like I bought toilet paper at Walmart. Now Walmart should buy my homemade pie.
Yeah, or what it's really like. It's like it's sort of like how the movie theater doesn't let you bring your own food. It's like that.
Those arguments are retarded. So first of all, when it
comes,
but that's a dumb argument, though, right? I mean, there are millions and millions of Islamic migrants going to Europe, and this is a fact. You call me racist if you want, I don't care, but it's true. They're coming here. That's true. And then they go to these Christian nations, and then they expect for their religious beliefs to be respected. Okay, fine.
Sure.
I mean, I guess that's also true, Robbie. But these scholars asked for this, right? They asked.
I agree.
Can we?
And then what you can do is that you can say
No, but here's the thing. Robbie's trying to say is like they go to a Western country, let's say in the UK, all these Muslims there. I mean, the mayor of London is Muslim, whatever. It's the fact that it is a Western value to, as they say, they purport, right? To respect other cultures, respect other religions. So
But
they
respect
do
only goes one way.
but they do make accommodations for other people's religions because it's a Western value.
Well,
So
and
that's
it
what
used
Ted's trying to say.
Look, it used to not always be like that. Like the
And it
Ottoman
shouldn't be
Empire,
now.
which included modern day Palestine, was very open-minded and allowed Jews and Christians and all sorts.
Are you
of people
freaking kidding me?
to
You have to
practice
pay
openly.
Okay, that's utter
It's like
bullshit.
Bashar al-Assad's Syria. It was
Okay,
very
I'm
open.
gonna push. I'm gonna push
everyone.
back on. I'm gonna push back on this whole Ottoman thing. That's Ted. You know better than that. So in Islam,
Well, it depends
if
what
you
period
are,
we're talking about here. But yeah.
I'm talking about the Ottoman Empire, the
Mhm.
blood tax, the Janissaries. They take the firstborn Christian son, castrate him, and draft him into the army, into the elite Janissary corps. That is not a tolerant act. Okay. Also, if you were a Christian or any other faith, and you decided and you lived in any kind of Islamic state, then you're commanded to live under the jizya. What Christian nation does that? So don't come at me with this tolerance bullshit.
I'm talking more like late Ottoman Empire, but okay.
Okay, well,
I'm
when
talking
with the
about present day
Well, your
Western.
point is taken, though. Yeah, I take your point.
Yeah, and I'm talking about present day Western cultural values, as it were, like
okay.
in the West, which is why we're at the point where if Ted put on lipstick and said he's a girl, he could go to the women's side at my gym.
Which is retarded because he's a dude.
But that's my point. Is like,
in Iran, they would force me to cut my dick off and have and have gender affirming surgery.
Yes, so you can conform to like male female roles.
Yeah,
that's the whole point. Anyway, we gotta move on to the next topic. We gotta breeze through. Ted, you gotta. Robbie, I'm banishing you back to producer land.
Okay, here we go.
Okay,
we got tens of thousands of voices, art pieces.
What? Standing outside of the pub.
Oh, sorry. I went too fast.
You.
Okay. Oh, I love this. Standing outside the pub. Standing outside of the pub. The pink flamingo standing in the rain. You probably don't know that reference. All right. Anyway, standing outside the pub, the 36-year-old business owner, Rachel, took a final tug on her vape and steeled herself to meet the man she'd spent the last 3 weeks opening up to. They'd matched on the dating app Hinge and built up a rapport that quickly became deeper. From the beginning, he was asking very open-ended questions, and that felt refreshing, says Rachel. One early message from her match read, "I've been reading a bit about attachment styles lately. It's helped me to understand myself better and the type of partner I should be looking for. Have you ever looked at yours? Do you know your attachment style?" I'd be like, what a creep. It was like he was genuinely trying to get to know me on a deeper level. The questions felt a lot more thoughtful than the usual, "How's your day going?" she says. Soon, Rachel and her match were speaking daily, their conversations running the gamut from the ridiculous favorite memes, ketchup versus mayonnaise, to the sublime expectations in love, childhood traumas. Often they'd have late night exchanges that left her staring at her phone long after she should have been asleep. They were like things that you read in self-help books, really personal conversations about who we are and what we want for our lives, she says, which is why the man who greeted her inside the pub, polite, pleasant, but oddly flat, felt like a stranger. Gone was the quick-fire wit and playful rhythm she'd come to expect from their exchanges. Over pints, he stumbled through small talk, checked his phone a bit too often, seemed to wilt under the pressure of her questions. I felt like I was sitting opposite of someone I'd never even spoken to, she says, which turns out to be true. I tried to have some sort of conversation as we'd been having online, but it was like, knock, knock, is anyone home? Like he knew nothing about me. That's when I suspected he'd been using AI. Rachel gave her date the benefit of the doubt. I thought maybe he was nervous, she says, but she'd been catfished before. So when the gap between his real and digital selves failed to close on their second date, she called the whole thing off. I'd already been ChatGPT'd into bed at least once. I didn't want to let it happen again. Maybe you should get clotted into bed. Where once daters were duped by soft focus photos and borrowed chat up lines, now they're seduced by ChatGPT polished banter and AI-generated charm. In a landscape where text-based communication plays an outsized role in the search for love, it's perhaps understandable that some of us search for AI's helping hand. Not everyone gives good text. Some chatfishers, however, go to greater extremes, outsourcing entire conversations to ChatGPT, leaving their match in a dystopian hall of mirrors, believing they're building a genuine rapport with another human being, when in fact, they're really just opening up to an algorithm trained to reflect their own desires back to them. The majority of chatfishers said they would never dream of letting AI do all of their talking. We have our ethics here. Most are like 38-year-old Londoner Nick, who sees it as a tool to help foster stronger connections with app matches. He sometimes uses ChatGPT in his conversations on the dating apps Field and Bumble. If I'm using a dating app, he says, I want to start a conversation that feels meaningful from the beginning, so I can hook the other person in, but I also don't want to spend too much time on it. Equally, when I want it to be quote unquote meaningful, these are his quotes, I don't necessarily want to get super heavy and emotional straight away. It feels like quite a balancing act. ChatGPT, well, dating kind of is a balancing act. ChatGPT, he says, helps him tread that fine line, offering enough charm to spark a connection without the investment of time or emotional labor that might otherwise feel wasted if the match fizzles out after a handful of messages.
Oh my God, Ted, it's
amazing, right?
Okay, the way men and women process using these apps, right? Like this Nick guy that they're talking about in London, right? Like, what a derp idiot. He never deserves to get laid ever again. I wish, he's missing the entire point of dating. It's the investment of time into this other person that makes the connection. Yet he's over here saying, I want to make a connection special from the start. I'm just trying to save time. So I'm using ChatGPT, man.
It's a
you idiot.
It's a con.
Right? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. He's an idiot.
It's a con, though, right?
It means it's a con. He has, obviously, if you need ChatGPT to talk to a chick for you online, then you've got no personality. And when they meet you in person, these chicks their vaginas are going to dry up faster than the Sahara Desert. They're never going to want to lay you. You need to up your game and learn to talk to people. You can't, the app itself is the shortcut, Ted. That's the shortcut. GPT cannot bridge your way into a woman's panties. It's not going to work. It just cannot work. And then for this idiot to say, I want connection. No, you want connection that invests time. Actually talk to her.
No, he doesn't want connection. He wants to create he wants the woman to feel connected so that he can get laid. She can get laid, and maybe who knows? Maybe he'll get to know her then, right?
No, he wants to. Okay, you're right. He phrased it as he wants her to feel connected to him.
Right. It's a grift.
Right. So he deserves to never get laid again because obviously he has no game. So he's using GPT for game. At least I've had my dalliances.
That is exactly
I've had my dalliances, Ted, with the Playboys, and you can play right back. However, I give them credit. The couple of times where I've been like, oh, I see what you're doing here. I at least give them credit for the effort. I know what you're doing. I ain't stupid. Come on, bro. But you at least give them credit. Nick gets 0 credit. 0. He deserves to never, ever, ever. He should never get to dip his dipstick in anyone's oil ever again. Ever again. What a loser.
It's bad for sure.
No, and then the woman, for the girls out there, I know, look, we've read many stories about grown ass adults, not just young, dumb, wet behind the ears kids, but grown-ass adults in their 50s, right, that are falling in love with their chatbot. And they know it's a chatbot, and they are doing this Ryan
It's so
Gosling
weird.
movie, like falling in love literally with their chatbot. And some of them even have spouses, husbands or wives, and they're like cheating on their human spouses with their chatbot. And they're acknowledging that they're in love with the chatbot. So unless, like, I don't know what to tell these girls, these other women out there, other than cut the shit. You don't have a prolonged faceless, voiceless interaction on these apps. I've done the apps. You have a couple exchanges. You think the pictures look cute. You quickly escalate to a phone call because, for all you know, their photos might be a good-looking guy, petting a tiger or whatever the hell they're doing, like these people do these days, right? But then you get on the phone with them, and they have like a nasally voice, and they talk like David Beckham, like this, and you're like, oh God, like you look like David Beckham, but then you sound like David Beckham. Oh Lord, no. Right? So then you're like, oh God, what a turnoff. Like I couldn't dry up faster. Like David Beckham, you want to look at. You don't want him to talk. And I've met him in person where you're like, oh my, and this is, oh yeah, in Dubai.
But he supposedly has so much game.
Oh God, Ted. Like every female journalist, when he walked in for the press huddle, oh, we were all like, oh, David Beckham. And this is, mind you, like 2008, right? So this is prime David Beckham.
Is he still married to the Spice Lady?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
And your heart's palpitating. You're like, I'm about to shake hands. I'm going to touch David Beckham. And then you shake hands and you ask him a couple questions and you hear the voice. Then you're like, oh, can I just look at you? Can you take your shirt off?
I didn't realize he had a terrible voice.
Oh, he has a horribly nasal, awful voice. But anyway, my point to the women here on the apps is you do a couple exchanges. Maybe there's something there. Then you escalate to a phone call because then you need to hear them. And then you'll see if there's a connection there. And they can't fake chatbot you. They need to talk to you because they have to respond in real time.
So isn't this kind of like an updated version of the story, the Cyrano de Bergerac story?
I was just thinking that. It's modern day Cyrano. But the thing is, you can't end up running off with Cyrano because Cyrano is grok, because Cyrano, is deep seek. Cyrano, like you're not going to have a happily ever after with the actual Cyrano,
right? Because
it's a machine. So girls need to wise up and not have these prolonged exchanges on like text.
How are they going to be able to tell?
You can't. That's my point. Is
I guess it's true.
Do a couple exchanges.
You have to
get on the phone and then meet them.
Escalate quickly to verification
and dump quick, so that way you're not, because the girl will more than likely.
You're also doing the guy a favor. You're not wasting his time either.
Well, no, the guy. Most of them are going to be out there trying to get laid. So for them, they're just like chatbot spamming all of these, matches on.
Well, that's part of the problem too, right? Like men get like very few replies when they contact women. So the strategy for most guys is to swipe right on everyone and basically hit on everyone and then just see what happens, right? So they're like kind of like they're like doing drift netting, right? Yes. They're not like specific. They're not spear fishing.
So I don't feel bad for what's the our lady in Rachel. I don't feel bad for 36-year-old Rachel here. Girls are doing the wrong thing because girls love being written to and texted to and whatever. Girls love that. No.
I mean, it's also, but Manila, here's another thing. Like, I don't understand.
I've heard from
my female friends that a lot of guys like misrepresent themselves. And then they show up and they're a different person, right? Like, for example, I'm 6'2", and then they show in and they're 5'6".
That's why cut bait. Escalate fast.
But I don't understand why you would do that. Like, why would you? And women do this too. Women say that they're younger than they are. Women say like, "Oh, I'm 52," and really they're 72 or whatever. And then you would show up, I guess, and then like there's this much older person there. What do they think is going to happen? Do they think that like you're going to be like so smitten with them that you're going to overlook that they lied to you?
That's it.
Is that what it is?
It's like the old realtor photo on the bus bench, right? It's like the realtor's been using the same photo since 1988.
I don't care what the realtor looks like, but whatever.
But that's the same theory. Is like the realtor uses like the best photo that she had from 1988, and she's like now 74 years old, right? But she still uses that same photo. So there are women that do that too. There are men that do that too. Everybody from, I mean, obviously I'm not single, so I don't know, but from what I've seen in articles and like other single friends, they all tell me that everyone uses AI enhancements for their photos. So sometimes it's like not an enhancement. It's a whole different human. Like, so I don't get what some people aren't actually even ready to physically have a partner, Ted. A lot of these people that are just going to forever online date are just looking for that, and they don't even know it themselves, right? They're sometimes just looking for the connection that you find from chatting with somebody new, the thrill, So for them, it may not even, and they don't even know it, but it doesn't even matter if they're using, true photo. Like here, I obviously Manila on TV is glammed up hair, makeup. I have professionals doing this for me, right? I'm in wardrobe or whatever. Real life Manila is this, right? Like I don't wear makeup. I may brush my hair. I don't know. Maybe if you're lucky. I don't know. But not. this maybe not. This is real life Manila. But that's like I'm very comfortable in my own skin, and I've just always been that way. So I've never been one to put up a fake photo. I don't even like airbrush, when they would put out like publicity photos. I didn't like that either. Right? Like I just hated the misrepresentation. But today's culture is not like that. Everybody wants to misrepresent on purpose. And so people hang on to this like dream imagery, I guess, if you will, of this other person. And a part of them knows that it's not real. And they don't ever want that dream, that bubble to be burst.
You think they never suspect it?
Somewhere deep inside, yes, but they don't want that bubble.
Like all victims of a con.
Yeah, they don't. On some level, they like the fantasy. On some level, the fantasy of connection.
But then
the fantasy
also,
of maybe I'm going to get laid.
I think about the guy who shows up and is clearly inarticulate, and he shows up to the date.
A derp.
And he shows up at the date, and like he's a derp. And he presented himself as Senor Suave. And like, it's like, now he's not. I mean, how does that fly, right? I mean,
well, I don't know about now.
Has that ever worked? Has anyone been like, okay, so you're clearly not the person who's been texting me, but I'll go out with you anyway.
Does that work?
Really?
It's probably worked here and there. There.
I would have to think not often.
But no, with no frequency whatsoever.
This reminds me of my old friend in high school. We used to go to parties together, and he'd like walk up to girls and just ask them to fuck him. He just
what?
Yeah, and so he'd get hit
in high school.
Yeah, he'd get hit. He'd have stuff
young.
He'd have drinks thrown at him. 15, 16.
Oh my God!
But the thing is, like 1 out of 15 or 20 times, the lady would be like, "All right."
A girl would be like, "Sure, let's." Right, so, you find the little slut, and you just.
It's like the old. It's like the old Crazy Eddie's ad. How do we do it? Volume.
That's precisely it. But look, when a guy misrepresents himself online, maybe not personality wise, but women tend to be more forgiving about your height or your hair or your weight or whatever.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing that's funny, right? Like I would be thinking if someone showed up, let's say I mean, like, I like older women, right? So, like, to me,
you?
it would never be a problem if, like, a woman had shown up and she was 70 and she said, but the problem would be, in fact, it would be a plus. I'd be more likely to have responded if she was 70 than if she was 50.
Ted.
But the point is, even if that happened, if she said she was 70, she said she was 50, and she shows up and she's 70, I'm not going to go out with her again, because I'm like,
lie.
I don't trust her. I mean, what was she not telling me about her herpes? Like, what else is she not fucking
like
telling
a boner
me about?
kill for you.
Yeah, well, it's actually a little frightening, right?
Yeah, well, that's a different thing. But like I said, I think in general, the millennials on downward, they know, there's a part of them that knows that what they're seeing is not real, because the technology exists. What they're seeing, what they're talking to, that they know that a strong possibility exists that none of that is real. The person you're interacting with, and they continue anyway because it makes them feel good. Bottom line, that's what it is. It makes you feel good, whether you're the man or woman. Maybe you're the dorky little nerd guy that's, like 5'4", that could never, really score a date, but you're this big man catfishing online. The fact that, or in this case, chat fishing, it makes you feel good, even if it's not.
Wait, it makes
permanent
you feel good.
And
The
it's
victim?
not real. No, it makes the 5'4" dude chat fishing. He's getting some sort of attention, even if it's not really him. That's the 5'4" guy that's getting the attention. It's his 6'4" online persona.
Right.
But it still makes, he's receiving it. He's reading it.
I don't know.
So somewhere in his mind, he feels good.
My advice would be, and I've always wanted to do like an advice show, but like for relationships and stuff like that.
Me too.
So my advice would be like Jeff Bezos, when he started Amazon, his motto was under promise, over deliver. You may have noticed, and this is still true, like on Amazon, if they say, oh, it's going to be 3 business days before your package arrives, often it'll arrive early. And that's so it's very psychological. Let's say he knows it's 2 days. I mean, Amazon knows it's going to be 2 days.
Yeah.
They could say, hey, it's going to be 2 days. And then it arrives after 2 days. And you're like, great, they did what they said. Or they could disappoint you and say, hey, we're going to go for 1 day. And then it comes a day late. And you're like, fuckers. No. But if you say like, 4 days and it comes in 2 days, look, this guy's exceeded my expectations. So, I mean, similarly, if you understated the issue and you're like, so actually, like, I'm a little chubby and I'm 5'5" and I'm a little awkward around ladies, but I'm a master at licking pussy. And you just, and then like a woman.
No, you don't even say that.
And you show up and you're 5'7" and you're not really that chubby.
Pleasantly surprised.
And you're a master at licking pussy. You've exceeded expectations, I think. I mean, I'm not a woman. You tell me.
Yeah, women are much more forgiving. Women are much more forgiving. So, all right, let's leave that there. We got to go to the an ad word from our sponsor, Ted. You want to?
All right, let's have that up. There it is. Okay, all right. You've probably noticed Rumble is growing fast and it's not slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first and actually protects free speech. And now there's Rumble Premium, an easy way to upgrade your experience. With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform, no pre-rolls, no interruptions, just the content you came for. Plus, Premium members unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators. Right now, Rumble is offering $10 off an annual subscription. Just go to rumble.com/premium and use the promo code studio at checkout. That's rumble.com/studio/ sorry, let me try that again. That's rumble.com/premium, promo code studio, no ads, more freedom, and content you actually care about. That's the deal. And as Robbie and I learned yesterday, actually, you really, to benefit the show, we need you to smack that big red subscribe button on the TMI page. That's how we get the most money out of it. So that's the way to subscribe if you choose to do that. Thank you very much.
All right. Last story, Ted, we got to do. I don't have too many thoughts on this one because like I said at the top,
I have many.
I haven't thought about it. I haven't thought about any of this in 35 years at least.
Now, you must have thought about it before that. What are you
No.
talking about? 35? Wait, since then? 35
Since
years
floppy
ago?
disks? 30 years?
1990.
Okay, 30.
The floppy
30
disks
years.
were around well into the. I mean, we had disks into the mid-aughts.
In the 90s. Really?
No, zip disks. I had zip disks in like 2004, 2005, for sure.
I don't. Okay, maybe. Okay, you know what? No, that's early 2000s. I was still in college. Yeah, we had the little square hard plastic disc.
Yeah.
We had that. So I haven't thought about it since 20 years.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, read.
No, I want you to do it, but I'm
Oh,
using my
shit.
voice. Going
Tens
away.
of thousands of voices, art pieces, and scientific records lie locked away on old floppy disks, inaccessible, deteriorating, and at serious risk of vanishing forever. From 5 1/4 to 3.5-inch disks, floppies once archived countless works: early computer music, historical data, personal diaries, cultural media. But now, with hardware nearly extinct, the contents are fading into darkness. Bit rot, magnetic decay, and brittle plastics take their toll. Digital archivists and librarians around the world are scrambling to salvage this legacy media. Their mission: build hardware repair shops, engineer custom disk drives, and piece together decades-old documentation. In some cases, collectors rebuild working drives from broken parts. In others, engineers manufacture read heads tuned to obsolete formats. It's a complicated puzzle. Each floppy's format is a moving target. Variants in encoding, disk geometry, custom file systems. Decades ago, engineers weren't coordinating standards like today, so every floppy can be unique. Well, I wouldn't go that far. Simply plugging one into a drive rarely works. One preservation lab in the Netherlands runs a digital archaeology program, turning floppy data into modern file formats, restoring corrupted bits, and even using machine learning tools to fill in the gaps. Libraries in the US and Europe are gathering floppy donations, thousands at a time, and relying on volunteers, programmers, and retired engineers to translate the old software to new. The urgency is real. Already, floppy disks from the 70s and 80s are physically falling apart, delaminating layers, developing mold or rust. The decay accelerates each year, narrowing the window for successful recovery. The phenomenon raises bigger questions about how much of our digital legacy will survive future generations. Our current storage, hard drives, SSDs, cloud, will someday be obsolete as well. Will we lose everything from early social media, niche scientific data sets, and marginalized voices? Not to mention like family photos and so on. Digital preservationists warn survival requires continual migration, public funding, and collaboration across institutions. Without deliberate effort, vast swaths of 20th and early 21st century culture will become lost. So while floppy disks might seem like relics of a bygone era, they hold irreplaceable stories. The rescue mission underway isn't just about data, it's about reclaiming a forgotten past before it truly disappears.
I had thought about it. So I just, like I said, it was my spoiler at the top, Ted. I guess I just assumed everything had been converted. Everything of value, like a Stephen Hawking. Like I don't know.
Just think about think about all the business records. Think about all the the government records that are stored. All the memos that are digital only that are it's not just disks. It's true, like what they said about what we're storing today on the cloud will all be obsolete and lost. I mean, the fact is, I do worry about that. We're creating more. Digitalia allows you to make data incredibly portable, and it's really easy to create and store, but it's not easy to keep it forever because we keep changing the entire format. It's as if, it's sort of like an analogy to this is in Turkey under Ataturk. Turkish was written in Arabic until 1920. And then Ataturk came in and got rid of it and replaced Arabic script with Latinate script. And so the consequence of that is that today only Turkish historians and experts can read anything from before 1920. In China,
so weird.
Mao introduced simplified Chinese script. and only scholars could read Chinese, anything written in Chinese before 1949. And so that's
So
a
crazy.
when you think about all the literature and scientific stuff written in Arabic and Chinese over the course of centuries, that's basically been lost to 99.9% of their respective cultures. That's the equivalent of what's happening to us. It's a disaster. I mean, and we're doing it every day. Bit rot is a huge problem. Even if you store, there's not even any stable recording medium from that period. Even if you record it to a CD-ROM, it's not stable. It rots. And so, even if you were like, well, we'll figure out how to watch it or listen to it or read it later, you can't, because it won't last. I mean, paper is one of the best forms of preservation. A book can last 500 or 600 years if properly stored, and it can easily be replicated. But that's not true about this stuff.
Well, I agree. I think the best way is to, like old school analog pen to paper, which nobody does anymore. But I just hadn't really thought about it, Ted. Like now I see that it is very important. I hadn't thought about it like at all. Like this is not, I just assumed somebody else already did it. And if I want to learn about it, it's already on the interweb somewhere. And there's people, far smarter than me that have already thought about it and done it. So I guess not.
I mean, Manila, you just have to think about all the information that's already been that gets lost all the time, right? I mean, for example, when there was the move from VHS on video, the move from VHS to DVD left left thousands of movies behind, and there was no version. The move from DVD to streaming also lost tens of thousands of films, never made it to streaming, and will never be streamed, including really famous, high quality, well regarded. I mean, obviously the schlock is all going to be gone, like the stupid tarantula movies from the 1950s and stuff. That shit's not making it to streaming. And it's too bad, because it's all part of our culture. I mean, it should actually be, I think there should be a national initiative at the federal level that should be financed, and we could maybe send Zelensky a little bit less money every week and store our cultural patrimony so that future generations can look at it and see it.
I could actually get behind that, Ted. Like for example, I have the DVD copy of Francois Truffaut's The 400 Blows, right? One of my favorite films.
Amazing.
And I just looked up right now, I wonder if that's made it to streaming, and it has.
Yeah, but it's on HBO Max. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I just oh wow, that did make it to streaming. So I just wonder if obviously Francois Truffaut is a big name, obviously, but are other movies from the 50s like that are not made by big names like that, are they out there? How much is going to be lost due to basically changes in technical platform and how we consume? But God, you're right, Ted. I think really if Melania, I'm not going to say Donald Trump, if Melania wants to get behind something like that, and she's into the arts and stuff like that, right? Flotus, if you're listening, take the Ted Rall advice.
Gotta.
Do this digital archive thing. I didn't know that so many things never made it over. It will get lost.
It's really frightening. I mean, it's not oh, we're losing 5%. And frankly, 5% would be unacceptable. But it's not 5%. It's 99% or more.
Crazy. It's just crazy. It's crazy to me that Stephen Hawking didn't die that long ago, right? Mm-hmm. And he's this world-renowned physicist. I mean, even my son knows who he is because South Park has done a caricature of him on South Park, right? Of Stephen Hawking, right? So literally
He's very
generations
famous.
know. He's very famous.
He's our Einstein. He's our generation's Einstein.
Right. So I just assumed because he is a world famous physicist that we have everything that he's ever done transcribed, put into digital archive, put into the cloud, I had no idea. It's shocking just from Cambridge.
I mean, Manila, it's like when he died, his family probably and his assistants probably had to go to his file cabinets, go to his computer desks, gather up everything, and then they shipped it off to Cambridge, right? That's where he donated his papers. And I guess he was a professor there, right? That's why he did that. And so, and so then they sit in boxes, and they have to have archivists pour through it. It takes a while. I'm very familiar with this process because I donated my records to the University of Texas at Austin about 5 years ago. And all of my stuff went there. So how did it work, right? They wanted my stuff because they have the biggest collection of left-wing journalism in the United States. And they said that I was the most prominent left-wing political cartoonist of the 20th century. In other words, there were other left-wing cartoonists, but none who had appeared in places like the New York Times on a regular basis, right? So the biggest mainstream left-wing cartoonist. So like Jerry Rubin, Abby Hoffman, all of their papers are at UT Austin. Anyway, so how did I do it, right? It was just me on a hot day going through my files, going to my storage unit, wrapping up boxes of files, cartoons, floppy disks, zip disks, all that stuff, dumping it into boxes, and then taking them by car to a FedEx office in the Bronx, dropping off 65 boxes and sending them all off to UT Austin, where they sat for probably during the pandemic for probably a year and a half, 2 years, without anybody touching them because they were backed up. And then they started gradually opening through, and they have to carefully index each item and put it into like acid-free, paper protectors and log it, and then digitize each one by one. It's a monumental undertaking, right? And I'm just a cartoonist. Imagine someone like Hawking. I mean, with Hawking, first of all, he was very prolific. He wrote a lot. And also you have to imagine, what if there's like a physical theory in there that he was working on one of those disks that like would change science? And like, you want to find that. You don't want to fuck it up. And, you don't want to put it into the wrong reader and have it erase whatever is on there. I mean, it's a big fucking deal. And that's just, it's wild. Here's the thing is, most, for example, cartoonists, no archive wants their stuff. You can't give away your stuff. Most cartoonists are just sort of like, tough shit. Like, your stuff is just gone. It's weird. When I worked at United Media, I found out that they had thrown away Charles Schultz's originals.
What?
A lot of them. Now, these things sell for tens of thousands of dollars each. So, I mean, it's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll do one little anecdote and then we should go. So I told you, right, that I think people know I've said this story. I don't know if it was on our podcast or my own, but I used to date Charo's godson, Charo, Coochie Charo, flamenco guitarist.
Wasn't she like a really brilliant woman, actually?
She's alive. She's wonderful.
Was she a scientist? I thought there was some rumor.
She's always been an artist and a musician, but she's actually a very intelligent lady
from Hollywood Squares.
She's super intelligent. Charo, like, you'd be shocked, like, talking to her, because she played up her coochie and giant boobs. Yeah. But she's a brilliant flamenco guitarist, the first woman to win like multiple world flamenco guitar. She's a brilliant artist, period. But anyway, I used to date her godson, and I used to hang out with her son and her nephew. Like, we're hanging out, good friends. And we used to stay at her in Vegas. We used to, when we'd go party, we'd go stay at her one of her villas out in Vegas, like on one of the golf courses. And remember who she used to be married to, Ted? Her first
No.
marriage? Xavier Cugat.
Who's that? Today I'm like
A famous. It was a theme in Ricky Ricardo's character that was like his rival on I Love Lucy.
Oh,
It's actually
really?
themed after him. Yeah, he was modeled after Xavier Cugat. You know who Xavier Cugat's bestie was?
Mm.
None other than Pablo Picasso.
No way.
They were besties.
Nobody ever said Pablo Picasso was an asshole. Do you know that reference?
No.
Modern Lovers song.
Oh,
Because he would drive down the street in his Eldorado, and girls would turn the color of an avocado. He was only 5'3", but girls could not resist his stare. Nobody ever called Pablo Picasso an asshole.
Pablo Picasso was, so that's her ex-husband's bestie, right? And at her villa in Vegas, and in her mansion in Beverly Hills too, but mostly it was disturbing to find random little sketches and on napkins on pieces of paper from fucking Pablo Picasso in the fucking kitchen drawers.
Did you snag
and
any
scattered
of those?
about. They're just. I thought about it, but I couldn't steal from her. I couldn't.
No.
I just couldn't.
True.
I couldn't.
You could have asked.
But I could have, but I didn't. And I was young. I was in my 20s. Like I was just in awe, and I was like, why are there napkins of? And I realized, holy shit, these are Picasso's. And then I started going through the rest of her villa because I was staying there, and I was like, there's random artworks that are. I wonder if the art world even understands that this is where he used to hang out when he'd come to Vegas with Xavier Cugat when Cugat was performing, back at the old Sands or whatever when he was the orchestra leader. So they'd come hang out. We're talking like the Frank Sinatra days, like the heyday of Vegas, right?
Mm.
Like this is like real Vegas story shit. You have Pablo Picasso shit just that will get lost to time because I don't know if that her son.
Sure. Although Pablo Picasso is a bad example because he was so prolific that he used to always would people come up to him in a cafe in Paris, people would ask him to draw on their napkin, and he would. So he was. So there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I went to a Picasso show at the Metropolitan Museum of Art here in New York, and it was about his ceramic pottery. He did a lot of plates and pottery, and it's kind of like it was kind of like the Met was like nobody knows that he did all this pottery, and I'm like, after I saw it, I'm like, nobody knew with good reason. It wasn't very impressive. Good. Yeah, it's a lot like that. Like when the Beatles started releasing the a lot of the master tapes that had like not been released as songs, and I'm like, they were right. The Fab Four were
not
right.
to release them.
These weren't good. They were like,
that's right.
Every now and then you find one song or something. You're like, yeah, this is pretty good. They could have released this, but very rarely. Most of it is dreck.
He drew in her mansion in Beverly Hills. He has like this. He drew a life-size on. I think it's on velvet. I think as you do in the 70s.
Right. No bulldogs. No Elvis.
He painted a life-size portrait of Charo. So it's
wow.
in her,
that's
because
cool.
It's his bestie's hot wife, right? Like he's so.
Yeah. Plus he was a lustful boy, Pablo.
Yes, and I was like, oh,
he had didn't Pablo Picasso have some kind of kink about bodily fluids?
I don't know.
Famously, I think, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. But these Spaniards.
He collected his
these Spaniards.
He collected his lovers' poos and stuff.
I did not know that. Maybe he had kinks about Charo. I don't know. Like,
well,
but
being into large-breasted Latina chicks is not a kink. That's just heterosexuality.
Big boobs and big hair. God bless. Charo is wonderful. Gosh, like I haven't seen her in so many years, but yeah, that her properties are a treasure trove of like a collection of Rat Pack era. Not only was her first husband, like a world renowned in that era of a orchestra leader,
Hmm.
But his bestie is Picasso. So it was like the Spaniard mafia, basically, of like the art world. And she had all kinds of amazing things in her attic, and all those things will never make it over to digital because I doubt her son.
Well, those are also private
thinks of it.
collection, right? Which is its own
I
thing.
guess.
I mean, a private
No, I
collection.
guess.
Look, I have some original art by the famous cartoonist Thomas Nast that nobody knows about. The Nast archivists don't know about it. It's in Ted Rall's hands. And like, it's like, there's a lot of private collections of shit. I mean, I collect political buttons, as you know, and as I've mentioned here on the show. And there are dorks who, of course, put catalogs together of like known political buttons, right? I have an FDR. That's not even that old. I have an FDR that nobody knows about. Nobody's ever seen, never been, it's unlisted. No, it's just, it's just like, it's very unusual, very cool. But, it's like, so there's there's that issue.
Imagine.
And here you're talking about like something that turned up not only in an academic collection, but the academic collection of the oldest continuously functioning academic institution on the planet, and that they have like this whole process of trying to like figure out how they're going to access this data, right? But I am glad that I was kind of forward thinking, because like my early columns were stored in these formats, and as we were evolving, I kept this is really the thing. When you have old data that you care about, as the old format still exists and they're introducing new ones, you should convert it all over.
I need to get better at that. I don't have.
Or go backwards. Like, for example, if you have photographs on your phone that you really care about, you should print them out, have them professionally printed out and put into an album and keep it old school.
Yeah. I literally was just thinking that last night when I was like, gosh, like my son's getting older. We need to plan for Christmas photos and whatever. And I thought, I really ought to print, because what if something, anything, right? What if? And go analog. Anyway, we'll leave that there, but that's just something for people to think about on a Thursday. Pretty cool, because I certainly hadn't thought about it, never put any thought into that.
By the way, that's what the brain of a small cat is like.
You closed his door, Ted.
He could go around, right? He could.
No, Clovis is meowing, in case people don't know. Whenever Ted closes that door behind him, Clovis gets pissed and starts screaming.
He does.
Even though Clovis, there's another door to Ted's right that Clovis can walk around.
To the same exact spot.
But Clovis,
he's a very pretty cat. Let's put it that way.
Clovis doesn't care. That's Clovis's door, and how dare Ted close it?
I know. I'm a monster.
You're a horrible cat.
I'm like a Zionist.
I'm gonna call CPS, Cat Protective Services, on you.
I would work for Cat Protective Services.
All right, we'll leave that there.
With cats.
There's a whole Netflix series about that, like don't fuck with cats. All right, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow on a Friday. Whoa, my voice is starting to go. Woohoo! Maybe it'll be all gone tomorrow from all the coughing. That's it.
All right.
Adios, amigos.
Bye.
Thanks for being here. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.